biz pro, so we grow. Using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This sounds like a drunken coach, but it's not.
Coach with some other kind of pizzazz.
This is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and undrunken coach.
Undrunk Buchanan over there. Coach Buchanan, super coach.
Coach, we have so much fun over here, man. This is
morning
great.
for you.
So how you doing there, co-host?
I'm well. This week went by so fast.
I know. That's because you're so busy with those kids, making things happen for them. So
I have it. Well, this week it was not necessarily I'm trying to clear off my calendar, get everybody in that needs to get into my calendar before, I go into biz camp mode. Cause at that point it's from, I'm not available until after 3, and I'm not trying to have an appointment every day after 3. After I'm done dealing with 25 kids. So I'm trying to clear the calendar off. We're going to go, we got one more show. I'm only going to do one show with the community briefing. We're going to have one next week, and then we go dark for 2 weeks. So I'm not actually doing the community briefing during that time. So that gives me a little breathing, and it's just the kids. But what I'm doing is, so I think I told you that my plan for this biz camp was to use my own material that correlates with my book. Because when I get done with biz camp, I'm going to finish my book and get it ready for the publish, get it ready for an editor, and then for the publisher. And so, but I wanted to see with some activities that I created in that and the PowerPoints, how well it does within that, because that's my whole thing is not just it would be some courses for kids, I'll set up some little incubator type of things, and so those
I can't wait to see what you got, Coach.
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. Every night there's a chapter. I'm not even going to go to water aerobics tonight. I'm going to do chapter 6. I did 5 yesterday, and I got 2 more to go.
And I know you got content, and I know you got prettiness. So together, the content and that prettiness you're gonna put in there, make it look wonderful. So.
Yeah, package it all up just for the little ones, and so we'll see where that goes. But so that's what I've been doing. So it's been a busy week.
Yes,
and I'm a little tired today, and I've been on. See, this morning I had a call at 10:30, then I had another one right behind that one, another one behind that one. So usually, Fridays is just like mellow out. Is Business Zone day.
Yes.
it wasn't quite mellow out being Business Zone day. It was mellow out, get to the Business Zone day.
Yes.
Yeah. And yours?
Oh man, mine has been pretty cool. Started the next level contract readiness mentorship program, cohort number 2 on Tuesday, June 9th. It was a great start out session.
Okay.
We have about 13 enrolled proteges in the program, and I'm pretty excited about this group. I like this group because this group seems a lot more serious, and I just want to work with them, provide them the resources, and get them next level, man, so they can start working on those proposals. We found about 2 contract opportunities so far, so I've forwarded it to all of them to review, and hopefully at least 4 or 5 of them can bid on some of the scopes of work, and hopefully they'll get to win.
So what was my question? What are some of the businesses?
So the industries that they're in, we've got HR, DEI, that's Dr. Thiele. We've
Mm-hmm.
got notary, that's Pat,
Okay.
and also Izette. Both of them are in the notary space. You got Ardina in
Okay.
the yeah, the restructuring of graphic arts.
Okay.
And we've got Gin Ginevara. I always mess up her name. Her name is Genevara Huff. So she does. She's in the transportation
Okay.
business.
All righty.
So, and then there's a gentleman in the photography space named Mark. He's he takes photos at graduations to schools and all of that. Well,
Okay.
I'm trying to get him in the construction space so he can start taking photos on construction sites. You know, a lot of people don't think about that, but that's a big money generating um, uh, profession to be in. Because when there's let's say they're building a school, they're building a community center, a Walmart, whatever it is. They need
Mm-hmm.
pictures on those sites, you know, especially when they're doing groundwork to make sure that people don't come back later and say, well, the work you did here, it affected my home and now
Mm.
my home is not stable. So if you have photos of all of that activity, then it could help in court and a lot of different things. So I'm trying to get entrepreneurs to start opening their minds and think outside of the box. You
Mm.
know, if you're a photographer, people think, okay, you're a photographer, you're going to do a headshot and all of that. You may not do photography in human beings. You may just take photography of buildings, of projects, you know, items. You see what I mean?
Right. Right. Right.
So those can help. And then we have a lady, she's in a PR, Jasmine.
Okay.
Who else? Who am I? Oh, we got Javon. Toss it up.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
Making salads and all of that stuff. And I really have something that I want to prepare her for so she can expand her horizon also. So there's quite a bit, man. And then Ginger does event planning.
Yeah, she's very good.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
she's
she
in.
just needs to make it more because events have changed a little bit
Yeah.
because of the fact that money is a little challenged
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah.
But I know I work with her. Um, I worked with her with Vermont Slauson. She used to do quite a bit with Vermont Slauson.
Yeah.
Yeah, so um, uh, so that yeah, she's very very good.
Yeah.
Been around for a
So
while. She's been doing business for a while, actually.
yeah, she's been around for a while. So, you know, I want to just take these small businesses, man, and get them out of their comfort zone because what I'm trying to get them to do and think about is, we talk about the different aspect to procurement and government contracting. You know, there are five
Mm-hmm.
sectors. There are five sectors to it. You know, you got when you talk about readiness, government contract readiness, there's five sectors to readiness, and one of them is the psychological part of it, where you got to start thinking a certain way, think outside of the box,
Mm-hmm.
start thinking of things that contract providers are not thinking about, and then you demonstrate how you provide value to them. And
Right.
then you have the compliance piece where they need to do what's required by the program and by the policies and the procedures of the program.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got operational with, how is your business going to operate? How strong you are, how strong are you? Do you have your team and a strong team to do the work? Does that team um, know how to do what is required by the contract provider? Then you got the tactical aspect, and part of the tactical aspect could be like what I'm saying right now. If you're a photographer, instead of taking photography of just people, you take photography of buildings, systems, processes, you make those available, because, invariably judges may want to call on those photos sometimes in a case, and that could help. Then you've got the experiential and the methodology part of it. So, it shows what's your method of doing what you do, how you're going to do it, what's your technical expertise, so those are the 5 areas that, I'm preparing them in so they can be strong, mentally strong,
Right.
and, and technically strong to execute the project.
And I think another part of that is, so how when we look at our business and we evaluate it for the next year, we're looking at what new opportunities that we literally could expand to, right?
Yes.
And sometimes it it's a vision, making sure we're staying in line with our ultimate mission and goal for what we're doing.
Right.
But we see opportunities, right? We see opportunities in everything.
Yes.
And then we come up with a strategy, and then activate. If we can activate all of it, then we do. But if we can't, then there's certain parts that we incorporate into the business to help make sure that it stays fresh.
Yeah.
And I don't think if you're not like one of us who are thinking like that, most in my experience, most small businesses do not think like that.
Right.
And so that's a thing that's a skill that they that needs to be massaged and added to. I'm going to send you I just added something to this, so I'm going to send this to you. But they need to learn how to one, evaluate, and that's through the SWOTs and so forth, and taking a 360 look at their business, but at the same time, what is going on in the world that I can actually fit in, right? That I could add that component, and it's something needed by some population, some target market out there, right? Yeah. So that's what I think when you're giving those are some skills I think we have to start providing for those that we are coaching.
We're coaching and preparing. And the thing about what you just said is that's going to really help them to separate and differentiate themselves from their competitors, so it would make them bolster and hone in on the technical expertise, psychological, the skill level, understanding, and and then when you tie that in with the financials, man, and you spit all of that out, it's amazing.
Yeah, because I actually there was a guy that I was coaching in this last cohort that I did, and he had a good business idea, and he worked at some nonprofits, and so he saw from within that nonprofit, nonprofits have all kinds of challenges all by themselves, right? And so he saw a need, and I said, you're absolutely correct. There are. I said, but your target market that you're going after is the small nonprofit with maybe just the founder and maybe a part-time employee. They have no money to pay you. Absolutely none. And so you need to increase your go for a bigger fish, go for the medium size, and medium size meaning they have at least $1 million budget, right? And the same thing for $1 million and up. And he's like, but they already have people. I said, but you got to create a something that those people are not doing.
Yeah.
And once you do that, then now you know, people can say they can write a grant, but do they know where the
Mhm.
money is?
That's right. And
Right.
do
So
they
you
understand the season? Do they understand when money becomes available, when money shuts down? Those are things you need to know, man, if you're playing the market like that.
right, exactly. And who is going to be the grantor this year, right? So
Yeah.
how do you get, and then you're networking so you have connections. That's how you grow, and that you have a value added right there, because I can guarantee you the person that's writing their grant is not that person.
Right,
So
right.
basically, so anyway, so that's what I think we just need to do, because you know where I am
Yeah.
right now with
Yeah.
some of our businesses just being too small. We just can't. We got to get better. We just
Yeah.
got to get
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
So
So
today we're going to explore a fascinating question per se, right?
yes, we
And
are.
and that question is what, co-host? What is that
Okay.
question?
So actually, everyone, being that June is the month of it's Juneteenth. We kind of talked about that last week, but as well, yesterday or 2 days ago, was it yesterday?
Yeah, yeah, 2 days ago.
2 days ago was Marcus Garvey birthday. And so we're going to do a show today that's kind of about Marcus Garvey and his philosophy, and what he did doing, how he uh what an inspiration he is. But we're going to take it from a different angle, because Marcus Garvey was born in Jamaica. He's a Jamaican man, and so we have a Jamaican right here.
That's
And
right.
so so, and I think Marcus Garvey holds a very special place in Gilbert's world, and how he foresaw things. So before, Gilbert, I did resend you the the, the the outline for the day, but I'm going to ask you a couple questions before we jump into our presentation here. And
All right.
so let's see. You should be able to answer, and that should not be a problem. So today we're going to talk about Marcus Garvey. He actually has a in the islands, and we're going to talk
Mhm.
about that. It's a $30,000 business plan pitch challenge that is going on in Barbados, and we've also
Mhm.
discovered that there are a number of other things going on in the Caribbean and diaspora.
Mhm.
And Gilbert and I had some very interesting conversations about how we might be able to open up business, so we're no longer doing business right here in the United States, being
Right.
the shape that it's in, but that we can do business wherever we want to if we're creating businesses that are digitally accessible. So,
Yes.
but before we do that, Gilbert, before we get into the meat of the conversation,
Yes.
I'm going to where's my thing? Where's everything? Here. Okay. All right. So before we start, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, because Gilbert, as I just said, was someone that was born and raised in Jamaica, and the name Marcus Garvey carries a lot of weight to him. So what does Marcus Garvey mean to you, Gilbert?
I see Marcus Garvey is by the way, his middle name is Messiah.
Okay.
Mosiah.
Okay.
Marcus Messiah Garvey. So I see him as a Messiah.
Oh,
He's
okay.
a Messiah is like a prophet, and he was born back in 1887. So that's a few decades after slavery was abolished, right? And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that he did was to start an awareness among the ex-slaves and the blacks to become self-sufficient. No one was trying to lead that charge, but he did that. He said, "Hey, let's do this." And he had some skills in entrepreneurship. So he utilized those skills in entrepreneurship to galvanize folks to come together and do business among each other.
Mm.
So to me, he to me, he's a visionary. He's someone who is inspirational. He's a leader, and he's someone who is about transformation. So that's how I see him.
Okay, all righty. Um, he also helped with, from what I've read about him and the things that he did, and we'll go into detail on his businesses, because he was definitely a Jamaican entrepreneur. He
Yeah,
had him had 5 jobs too, right?
yeah. He was the epitome. He was the epitome of, man, I got 15 jobs, man.
So in Jamaica itself, is he like a national hero
Yes,
or
yes. He
okay?
he he is a national hero in Jamaica, and because of his trailblazing um, uh, approach to economic development.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the first national heroes that Jamaica embraced and, built a statue of and posted it all over the country so people can follow his lead and become self sufficient. So, yes.
Okay. And so also, when you were growing up, did they teach Marcus Garvey his principles and what he was doing in your school?
They didn't teach it as much as they should. They only talked to us in school because, as you know, the whole story of black knowledge and black education is to suppress the truth and not
Mm-hmm.
letting us know what really happened and what the real deal was. So what they did was to try to teach us from the other side and let us believe that he was a troublemaker. That, oh
Mm.
yes, he was a troublemaker, so they had to try to restrain him, and he got out of control, so he ended up being killed. But that's not how it was, man. They didn't like what he was trying to do. They didn't like he was trying to galvanize the blacks so they can do business among themselves instead of relying on folks from the other side who
Mm-hmm.
would never recognize them and would never give them an opportunity. So he was doing what you and I are doing right now with entrepreneurs, to encouraging entrepreneurs to dig deep into their soul and come up with skills and technical expertise to do what they do best and provide a service to people in their community. That's what he did,
Mm.
and he had a following too.
Wow. So actually, even the Jamaican people would be, if they had known exactly what he did, because he was not. When did he leave Jamaica?
He left, I believe, 1914. No, he left. Let's see. I think it was 1910.
Okay.
1910 is when he left Jamaica. He was
Right.
23 years old at that time.
With that time. And
Yeah.
so if the truth had been told, then even Jamaica's economic landscape would be different today.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Okay.
And just so you know, because a lot of people, I don't believe they know this. Even though even though they're mostly black people in Jamaica, Jamaica is run by Europeans, people who don't look
Hmm.
like us. And I'd say about 80% of Jamaicans are black.
Mm.
And then the other 20% are a mix of European folks,
Mm-hmm.
Indian, Syrian, Chinese, Asians, you name it, you
A
know.
melting pot.
And then 5% of the population runs the country. 5%.
Ah,
So,
5%. So
so
it's
the
not even a
total
representation.
population, the total population is about 3 million.
Okay.
Okay. So 5% of those folks are the ones who have all the resources, the money, the jobs, the buildings, and that's why the unemployment rate is about 40% right now.
Wow. So then there's not they're not, Jamaica's no longer under under Great Britain.
No. We kicked their butts back in.
Okay. So
We
but
kicked them,
still
their
that
butts.
we being able to
Yeah, we
pick
got
them.
our independence in 1961 or two, I believe,
Okay.
and
So during the civil rights movement.
that's when my paisana in Spanish, when somebody is from your country, they call them a paisano.
Uh-huh.
You know? So there is a woman, a freedom fighter, an advocate, and leader, just like Marcus Garvey. Her name was Nanny. She
Mm-hmm.
was pretty militant.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of another female here in the U.S. that's been that militant, but she.
Maybe what was her name? Angela Davis.
Oh no, she's stronger than Angela Davis.
Okay.
Angela Davis, she did her thing,
Was
Nanny,
she like was she
she
the
gets
Harriet Tubman of Jamaica?
in that vein. Harriet
Okay,
Tubman, but more militant,
more
because
militant.
she gets
Okay.
down in the trenches and she mix it up with. She'd fight anybody. She'll fight a
Oh
man, a woman.
wow.
She's
Okay.
the one who galvanized the group, the army against the British and kicked them out of Jamaica. You know, the British,
Oh.
they had guns and bayonets and everything, and we only had spears and stones and you know.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, bad sister.
And she led that revolt against them, surrounded them. They didn't even know where they're at. They're fighting on territory they know nothing about, because Nanny represented the Maroons, and the Maroons are that group that's
Wow.
native to the country, Jamaica.
Yes. Yes.
And they're the ones who housed those runaway slaves. Whenever slaves ran away, they would go up in the mountains, the cockpit country mountains and all of that, and they would keep them there. They would let them stay there, as a refuge. So they didn't know what she was doing by taking the runaway slave. Well, she was building her own little army.
Ah, and I think the Maroons that they were saying that I've read and heard that descendants of the Moors. Um,
Yes.
yeah,
The
of the
Maroons are the
Moors,
descendants of the Moors.
and I also heard during the when this trade transatlantic trade was going on, that
Yeah,
a number of those actually jumped off the ship. They were
yeah,
not going to be
yeah,
held as
yeah.
captives,
Oh
and
yeah,
so
a lot of the pre-slaves Africans, they would say, "Hey man, I'm not gonna be a slave to these guys," So they'll jump off the ship. Some of them get eaten by sharks. Some
mhm.
of them swam. They swam to shore, and some of them ended up in Jamaica. Some of them ended up, in other Caribbean islands, and they just ran to the mountainside. And
Mm.
you know, so Nanny and her crew would take them in with open arms and say, like you say, she was like the Harriet Tubman of that
Mhm.
time, but she was militant. Though she was more militant, because I'm telling you, she gets in there, she's fighting like a dude, fighting the other side. You're going, is that a woman?
She must have came. He must have came. There's a warrior, a
Yeah,
warrior group in Africa.
yeah,
In fact, there was a women, the women king was it Queen something,
yeah.
and that group they were that's who they were. They did so she must have come from that group over there,
Oh yeah, oh
warrior.
yeah.
So
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 that
here in
group, that group,
America,
that group of warriors, the Maroons, is where Marcus Garvey he came from. He's a descendant of the Maroons, those groups.
okay, well then that makes sense because here in America we know him as a civil rights leader, as well as a Pan African leader
Yeah,
as well,
yeah.
and probably one of the most influential economic thinkers of the 20th century.
It,
And so,
he was, and I'm going to tell you why he was, because when he launched the Buy Black movement, he's saying, "Hey, if you buy from blacks, then we don't have to rely on the other groups to spur and help us grow our economic development. There's
mhm,
enough of us that we can buy from, we can trade amongst, And then he said, if we spread this among different countries, then the Caribbean and in Africa, because Africa has 54 countries. So
Mm-hmm.
and you tally up all those countries, you have almost 1 billion people in Africa. You see what I
Yeah.
mean? So he was banking on that. He was he gambled on that. That's what he banked on, and it was working. And if you notice, most of those African countries, their flags are red, green, and black, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the representation of the movement.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah. And as I was doing some research myself, Muhammad Nazardine, who is the founder of Recycling Black Dollars, he followed along with that again, the Buy Black movement, and that we can become self-supportive. And I know that there were a number of groups across the United States that followed suit with Marcus Garvey's theory, but he
Yeah,
also believed
that's
that.
where the Black Panther came up with that ideology that they're saying, hey man, we need to be self-sufficient. We got to take care of our own. We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to protect our own. That's an extension of the Marcus Garvey philosophy, and it was working to a great extent here in the U.S. Until the government did what they did to the Black Panther.
Yeah, exactly. Which anytime they feel that it's a threat, right? We have a threat. They have a threat. Then they have to eliminate the threat.
Say that
So
again, co-host. Say that again. Say it again.
whenever there is a threat or consumed a perceived threat, that they're gonna eliminate the threat. So that's what we're gonna talk about today, guys. Here we are, 100 years later. And this Jamaican guy who really fought hard for the people of African descent. He also believed in unity. He didn't believe in which I don't either. He felt that we should have stayed segregated.
Yep.
I feel that way. We should have stayed
Yep.
segregated at least until we were able to get strong enough to control, everything that happened to us, right? To build as opposed to wanting to be integrated. But I believe that was all part of the plan as well.
And
And
his
so,
philosophy, to co-host, his philosophy is what spurred the Black Wall Street there in Oklahoma, because his was happening 1910 and beyond. Black Wall Street was there around about the 1910s to 1920s, around about that time. So they were building cities, they were building the culture, they're building families. They've got their own hospitals, their own banks, their own businesses, their own planes, doctors, you name it. They have
mhm.
everything they needed. And like you said earlier, whenever the government sees this particular group, being self sufficient and not depending on them, for their welfare services, they get upset. They don't like that. They feel threatened. So they
Mm.
have to destroy that ecosystem. So that's why they bombed Black Wall Street.
Mm.
First they took care of Garvey, and then after that, they went after Black Wall Street.
Yeah,
So,
because he was encouraging us
yeah.
to stand on our own, to take pride in who we are
Oh, yeah.
and what we are, and take care of ourselves. So that's what we're going to actually talk about today, guys. Because even today, that's where we are now, right? We're right back here.
Yeah.
It's like with 60 during the 60s we were here during the civil rights movement. Marcus Garvey was in 19 in the early 1900s,
Yeah.
and so we're here still striving for economic empowerment within our own community. I think he also was about Exodus, and I think this also took place because it wasn't Exodus to Liberia, which is
Yeah.
where.
He was saying folks should should start thinking about, because Garvey had multiple businesses, and one of them were shipping, transportation. He was he's one of the first blacks to own their own ship that they do transportation. That commerce, transportation, and logistics. He was one of the first to do that. So we transport goods and services from country to country, port to port. And he was, he developed what they call the Black Star Liner. The Black Star Liner is a ship that they use for shipping and transportation of goods and people.
Okay.
So he was encouraging people to repatriate and go to African countries like Liberia, Angola, Uganda, Nigeria, and others.
Okay.
And like I say, if you notice the flags of those countries, those are the same flag, the same colors that
The same
he donned.
colors. Okay. Yeah. He was telling us to self-deport.
Yeah, exactly. He was really saying that, but no one was listening, so. And it's amazing because the story just kept going on and on and on and being spread. And even you, co-host, you are involved in an organization that you promote that ideology, the Buy Black philosophy.
I do.
Recycling black dollars.
I do. And here we are 100 years later, still having this conversation. I don't know, maybe another 100 years we won't have this conversation, but we're still the same challenges that Marcus Garvey was solving centuries ago. We're still here today. So I hopefully we're finally getting it, and with what's been going on in the world, we should get it, that we really have to work toward our own betterment, not waiting for someone else to do it for us. And can
I ask you a question, co-host? Which black organization in the US or in the world that has a membership of over 2 million members?
I don't think.
Can you think of any?
No.
That's how strong and powerful Marcus Garvey was. He formed an organization called the UNIA. And that organization, it started out with like 13 members. And he started building, he started going to arenas, stadiums, street corners, churches, everywhere he could go to have meetings about economic development and Buy Black and all of that. And then before you know it, they had 3,500 members. And that was just before 1919. Then at 1919, they had 2 million members.
Yeah,
2 million members
in that time frame,
and 1,100 chapters in 40 countries. That's unheard of. And guess what, co-host? It didn't stop at 2 million. It grew to 6 million members.
Now, I would like to see how could we do that today?
That's what I'm saying.
Pretty amazing if under one umbrella we were able to garnish 2 million people.
Yeah.
And it could be more because now we have accessibility to the internet, right? So there it was a newspaper, but here we actually could be all of the African diaspora in America, in the Caribbean islands, and Africa, the 54 countries in Africa that know that they're African. And we'd have accessibility to everyone. There is no way. And if you were supporting each other's businesses or whatever you were doing, there is no way we would not be able to meet the vision that Marcus Garvey had, Muhammad Nasruddin had, or any other civil right, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all of them, was because that's what they were looking for, was how do we empower ourselves to meet our greatness? Because God already had made us great.
Yep.
And so we just needed to be able to understand how great we were. And part of that greatness would be that we are able to take care of ourselves. We can't say it's just on them. We can't. We have to be able to say there's something we have to do. And there's a number of incredible quotes out there from Marcus Garvey. And when I was reading them and I was pulling the information together, it's like, oh my God, this is just so now, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We're looking for economic independence right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I want to share something else with you on the audience on this, goals, because if the information doesn't get out there, one, people won't know about it. Two, they won't believe the status and power we had back in the 1920s, 1910 and 20s. Okay. So Marcus Garvey built a lot of businesses. He built big businesses. Okay. He was a Shark Tank back in the day. He was the Shark Tank, the Black Shark Tank. You see what I'm saying? He built businesses. So people would come to him and say, we're trying to do this. Can you help us reach this marketplace? And he said, no problem. And he galvanized around them and showed them, because remember, he had ships. He owned ships. He had a series of Black Star liners that he would send, from port to port, transport goods, So if we were to export products to Africa, we could do it, because back then the guys from the other side wouldn't let us do it. Or if they did it, they would charge us a lot of money, and in the middle of the ocean they will dump our products, So that's what they did. So he was so powerful in his economic philosophy that they call him the angel of Black success. The angel of Black success. That's how powerful this man was, And I just wanna read this little thing for you. It says, he encouraged entrepreneurship and got millions of people buying from Black-owned businesses. You see what I'm saying? Right now, you and I, we can't even get one small business to buy from a Black-owned business.
Yeah, the support. Yeah, like I said, we've been working and we've been around since 1988, 89, something like that. So that's almost 35 years, and we're still having this conversation.
And we're still having this conversation. He was so powerful that he was able to get folks to start buying from Black-owned businesses. He taught all of the Black folks to be proud of the race, the Black race. They should unite as people. Okay? And he said, in his own words, he taught all of us to be Black and to buy Black. Think Black, or else no one will take care of you. You got to take care of yourself.
Yeah, and he believed, we were all African descent, and no matter where we happened to be living, we shared a unified history and destiny. And so that's you're right. He was very Africanism. And and wanted us to go all back to Africa. Probably would have been a great idea, because now even Africa would have been different, because when I've gone to South Africa, to Cape Town, and when I was in Egypt was a little bit different, but in Cape Town, when I looked around and I saw the people that actually lived there, Gilbert, I was like, wow. Yeah. Because we sometimes feel incredibly hopeless, but on them, you could see it on them, especially the ones that were not the the natives, the Aborigines that lived there. You could see it. It's like all the light was out, everything was out, because poverty there is so extreme in South Africa, in Cape Town anyway. For the black man, there's like Jamaica though. There is a variety of other people. The first time I went to Jamaica, I have to insert this little story. So I was on a cruise, and we got off the ship, and I think we were in the Gal. I think that's where we were. Where's the Duns? What Duns?
Ochoria. Duns River is in Ochoria.
Oh, it was in Ochoria. Okay, that's where we were. And we get off, and I see all the black people as I'm getting off, and they had all the little vendors out there, and they were, wanting, because it's a ship, so they want to, sell you whatever they're selling you, right? Yeah. But then we stood into some of the stores, and I went, what's wrong with this picture? Because in my head, it's my first time in Jamaica. Yeah. Everything is supposed to be black. Everything is supposed to be black. I'm not supposed to go into a store and see anybody but a black man. And I was like, what's happening here? In my mind, Jamaica is black.
Yeah.
And why was I not seeing? So a lot of the Eastern Asians were owners of the stores, and I was just too undone.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're the ones who got the VIP access to owning stores and doing all of that. Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. And so that just blew me away. I was done for. I think it took me a whole day to get right off of that one, because that is not what I expected when I got there.
Yes.
I see what, when I went to Puerto Rico, that's a whole different thing, because the settlers who settled there, but that right to me. But you know what? For Marcus Garvey, and I assume he was educated in Great Britain.
He was educated in Jamaica, then he came to the U.S., and then he went to Britain too.
Okay, because he was a economic strategist, right? And when you talk about him having ships that could provide global trade, you and I we talk about that all the time. Like, what the heck? Why are we not trading and doing business?
Exactly.
So here in the 1900s, early 1900s, he had a vehicle. He didn't just tell you about it. He's like, I got a boat. Let's go.
He had it, because you know what? He was leading by example. He's telling people to do these things, and he said, there's no way they're going to follow me or be inspired by me if I don't do it myself. So that's why he bought those ships, and he was transporting goods and services from country to country, port to port, location to location. As a matter of fact, he inspired and influenced over 30 African countries, and they were, because of that, they were able to declare their freedom. And on top of that, you have many black leaders here in the U.S. like Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and Minister Farrakhan, who said they all were inspired by him. You see what I'm saying? This is powerful, man. This is not an American. This is a Jamaican in a little country with 3 million people. As a matter of fact, they're thinking that Jamaica is just a piece of landmass that floated up from underneath the sea, and it rose to the top, and then it's surrounded by water. So there's so many things going on there. You see what I'm saying? Tiny piece of land.
Wow. Yeah, it is. It's a small. That's why I was shocked. It's like, how the heck? But yeah, you're right. And even today, I mean, his philosophies and his pillars from 100 years ago are the same pillars today. So he believed, and I think all of us at this point understand this, if we don't understand anything else, that political freedom means very little if you don't have economic power. And that's where we are today. Without economic power, you have no freedom. People decide for you what you're going to do, how you're going to live, how you're going to eat. what kind of job are you going to have, if you're going to have a job.
Yeah.
They make that decision for you. So his theory of being able to acquire that is really right today.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't even know why we didn't embrace that, because we would be in a different place. And he also, his philosophy was really simple. He thought, if you don't own a business, you don't control the capital, you don't produce goods or create jobs, somebody else is going to control your future.
He did not believe that black folks should work for the man, because he said what happened when you work for the man is just abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, and you're not compensated. So that's why he promoted that all blacks should try to strive to become entrepreneurs, because if you become entrepreneurs, then you can hire people in your family, in your community. They will be your employees, but you're not going to be employees of the others.
No.
So that's what he promoted. And and the mentorship program that I launch here and I run and manage is a spin-off from the Marcus Garvey Buy Black philosophy, because as you know, we talk about this from time to time. Here in the US, a lot of the power brokers, they don't see small businesses. We're invisible to them. We are invisible. They don't give us loans or lines of credit. They don't provide us opportunity. That's why they thrive on redlining. So in my program, I'm building these guys so that they understand the philosophy, the requirement, how things work, and then have them do trades with different countries, Caribbean countries, African countries. You see what I'm saying? That's my philosophy. That's what I've been pushing, So if we can get them, their co-hosts, you and me and others, if we can get our entrepreneurs, our small businesses ready to the point that if they have to ship goods and services, we have a similar transportation system like the Black Star Liner, that will transport their goods and services. We don't have to deal with tariffs and all of that,
No, exactly. And what that says is, Gilbert, that if we put together and have a power of collective economics, that means all of us working together, all people of African descent working together. We don't need wealthy investors from outside. We should have our own banks more than the few that we have. We don't need venture capital firms because we can create our own. Yes. And we're talking regular, ordinary, working class people that we coach and train all the time. These would be your teachers, your laborers, your domestic work, all these people coming together and believing in a better future. But right at the present moment, we don't. We even within our own little world is all disconnected, and we really have to look at being collective. Like you and I work together. We've been doing this for a long time. We're better together than if we're all trying to do the same thing, right? If we're trying to do the same thing by ourselves, it takes you so much longer to get there, right? Than if you're working collectively, and so it makes it easier.
And I like to do macro economics. While there is microeconomics, I like to do macro. That means I look at it from the big picture. 30,000 feet down, I look at everything. And I've been saying this over and over, here in Los Angeles City and County and surrounding cities and counties, there are businesses, there are agencies, there's government, but they don't want to do business with many small businesses because they see us as being invisible. We don't exist to them. So we got to take our ball and go play in a different playground. So that's what we're trying to do right now. So I want small businesses listening right now. If you're out there on Facebook, you're on LinkedIn, if you're on any other platform, you're listening to this podcast right now, I want you guys to start thinking like this, okay? There are 44 44.8 million people collectively that live in the Caribbean, all the Caribbean countries. You tally them up, 44.8 million people. Okay. If you tally up all the 54 African countries, there's almost 1 billion people there, right? So we got 1 billion in Africa, 44.8 million in the Caribbean. Why can't we do business in those regions? Why do we have to do business here? Why? Those can be our customers. You see what I'm saying? Those are our customers. 48.8 million in the Caribbean and almost 1 billion in Africa. That's all we need. We don't need to do business here. We don't need to do business in Europe. We don't need to do business in North America. We can target the Caribbean and African nations. That's it. And all of us can become rich that way. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. And here's another additive to that. So in my research, found out that, and this is, I think, probably his Jamaican blood that was, because you've talked about, what is it, Susu?
Huh?
You talked about Susu, right? What was that?
It's called the partner. That's what they call it.
The partner, right? So one of the things that Marcus Garvey did was, in order to fund his businesses, he felt the community itself was the best resource, and so so he actually had the very first crowdfunding. 100 years ago, he had a Kickstarter, right? So
I'm telling you, this guy was a genius, man.
It was like before his time, because that's what he said. Everyone put in small amounts for a common goal, and now you can fund ventures like that, right? And then I fund your business, get you to the place where you can become self-sustainable. Then the next man come along, you fund his business. And then when that one's self-sustainable, and you can hire employees, and you're supporting and selling and making incredible revenue, now it's your turn, right? It's your turn now to help the man behind you. Now we can build without saying, I don't have any money, right? Or I can't grow my business because I don't have any money. And so we really need to do our homework. I think the more knowledge you have, how we've been talking about this forever, right? We've been talking about, how did ex-slaves become millionaires maybe a few years or a decade after slavery? How did that happen? Why?
Well, it happened based on what you're saying, co-host.
Yes, they had to help each other. And so that's where we are today. We have to help each other grow. And Pat says real talk and fear.
Yeah.
We can't be fearful, Pat, because that was one of the things that Marcus Garvey also fought with his philosophy, was having racial pride and self-love. Being proud of who we are, being able to foster self-esteem so that we could grow. Don't let the outside world tell us who we are. We know we have to know who we are. In fact, it says it in the Bible who we are. And so all you have to know, that God made you special. He protects us, because I don't know how else in the world we were able to survive 250 years in captivity. And the punishment that we received, and what we there, and then another 200 years to make it 400 years of all the other crap that we've been dealing with, if we were not protected by God. So there should be no fear, because God got you.
Let me tell you what Marcus Garvey did and promoted to help these Black and small businesses to become self-sustainable. Okay. Because banks weren't willing to lend us money, and what he did, he established, like you say, a crowdfund situation where he would get 50 people, and each person put in $500 in a pool. Okay. $500 times 50. You know how much that is? $25,000. That's your line of credit right there. $25,000. And that's done monthly. So every month, when people put their money in that pool, somebody else get $25,000. So they use that towards starting and building their business and growing their business. You don't need to go to a bank. You don't need to go to a bank for that.
Mm-mm.
You see
No.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how we got started. Now, I know the government here will tell us that, oh, that's illegal. You can't do that. Who said we can't do that? There are other groups doing it. Do you think the
Isn't
agents,
that what
do you
I
think-
what's that real estate? The REIT, what is that called? A REIT, where they pool in their monies and then they
yeah,
go buy real estate together. Isn't that
yeah,
what that is?
yeah. The
Okay.
Asians do it, the Jews do it, Latinos do it. So why can't we do it? It's easy. It's easy. Each person put $500 in a pool. You know, there are 50 of us. Each person put 500 in a pool. You know, every month, and
Yeah.
every month somebody else get $25,000 that they can put towards their business and grow the business. And as you grow your business, now you're making profit. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how many of those profitable businesses got started back then. You know, the crowdfunding businesses, the Shark Tank type business, the Marcus Garvey Shark Tank. That's what happened. So we didn't need the other side to be successful. And that's why you see so many black millionaires were formed back then, you know, in the 1887s and beyond. You know,
Right.
so we
Right.
could do the same thing here. You know, have
no
people sign
reason at
agreements.
all why we couldn't do that to be
We
able
could
to
do it. We could do it. Have people
Mhm.
sign agreements that they're agreeing to make the payments every month. So if there are 50 people in the group, then that means you got to put 500 in there 50 times, right?
Right.
So, and you do it every month, 50 times per month. I mean, each month you put the $500.
Right.
For,
And then
for 50 months.
that person have a specific goal. I'm going to employ 4 employees, and and that way I can expand my production, or I need to purchase this machinery so I can produce more product, right? Whatever it is, just like if you were going to a bank, what is your specific reason? And then of course there's some governance have to be in place. And then when that person has grown, and then they've been a recipient, then of course they have to now start contributing to the pool so that we can now select the next person. And let's say you said 50 people. So let's say let's expand that. Let's be macro, Gilbert. Let's expand that by, instead of we have 400 people doing that in different groups, right? In different little groups, you're doing that. Now,
let's say you got four groups of 50, you know,
4 groups of 50.
Yeah.
Right. And now you have over $100,000.
Yes.
And you do that, and you keep adding to that. Now from 4 groups, we go to 6 groups, we go to 10 groups. Now we have over that 50 is 500,000. So now we don't have to go anywhere.
We don't need to go to banks and with our hats in our hand begging, please, Mr. Bank, can you give us a 25,000 line of credit? No, we don't need to do that. I mean, we're not even talking about interest. There's no interest on this. You see what I mean?
So exactly, no interest on it. We just want you to get started. And so here's what I admire when I've read about him, and we've talked about Marcus Garvey a couple of, every year we do something in celebration of him, but he didn't ask for permission.
It's That's right.
People are waiting for permission to do to be great.
Yeah.
Basically, you don't have to wait to be great. Just be great.
That's right.
And so he didn't wait for permission. Yeah. He didn't wait for other people or institutions to solve problems. He came up with alternatives to his problem.
And just so people understand why we're talking about doing 4 groups or 6 groups or 10 groups, because the smaller number of groups, the faster you get your money paid into the system. You see what I mean? So if you have 50 people, then that person's going to pay 550 times. it's just like getting a car loan. You know, how many people have a car payment of over $500? A lot.
A
So
lot.
it's like making a car payment every month. You're putting in $500 in there, and each month somebody's getting a draw, and that draw is 25,000 that they're going to use to spend on their business. And they're not just going to get this money that they can go spend and party and all of that. You're going to have a manager that's helping them to manage, like a business coach like us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna manage how they're spending that money. We're going to look at their bookkeeping. You know, are you hiring people? Are you buying materials? You know, what are your ratios? How is that working out? What's your debt to equity ratio? You know, all of those things we're going to do. And I'm telling you, that will help us to build a self-sustaining community. We don't need anyone to come in and say, oh, let's give you a loan. No, we don't need any loans, because if we do it that way, there's no interest. If we do it the way we're talking about, there's no interest. So most of these people, they thrive on the interest that they kill us with,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So if we can do a system like this, co-host, man, I'm telling
And
you.
it's really not designed, the way the system is, Gilbert, it's not designed to elevate you.
Yeah.
It's designed just to give you the illusion that maybe just this much breathing room, right?
Yeah.
The illusion that you can reach that American dream. That's what
Yeah.
that's about. That's
Yeah.
not about you actually reaching it. And the rum, that ain't
Right.
about that. It's about, okay, so they won't say that we're not doing what we should be doing. So we're
Yeah.
just gonna give you a little bit. So we're gonna give you, you go to a bank and they'll give you a $5,000 loan. They'll give you a
Yeah.
$10,000 loan with a very
Yeah.
high interest.
Right.
You might get 25,000 depending on your business, right?
Yeah.
But then, because that's not enough, now
Yeah.
you got to go back,
Yeah.
and then you get into this vicious cycle,
Mm-hmm.
right, of really just paying interest on the loan, and the loan
Yeah.
is really not doing anything for you to help you
Yeah.
grow, because a significant loan to help you grow your business needs to be in the six figures, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
require the $5,000. What's that gonna do? The best
Nothing.
you can do with a $5,000, and I tell you, don't go for a $5,000 loan. Go for a $5,000 grant somewhere, because
Yeah.
now use that to hire a social media manager in this day and age.
Yeah.
Take a class on how to scale to get to the next level. That's worth the $5,000, or pay for a coach to help you get to the next level.
Yeah.
But other than that, and in that next level meeting, I want to hire employees in the next year. What do I need to do? And they give you step-by-step strategy to get there. But just to be a $5,000 or $10,000 loan, all you're going to do is be paying interest on it. The money's going to go like that, and
Yeah.
you're not going to do anything with it. And they know this.
I'm telling you, man, if the small businesses around us in our community that's listening to us right now, if they approach that philosophy I'm talking about, there's no way they can lose. No way. You don't need a bank to be giving you money with a high interest rate, because that's just suppressing you. You put your money in this pool, every month a person gets a draw, and then when they get that draw, that now they can go spend it in the business, and then with the oversight and the management of one of us who are trained, who know how to manage.
The best managers just popped in. Gregory Sneed, man, he'll be it won't be going nowhere but where it's supposed to go, right, Greg?
See, that's what I'm talking about. We know Mr. Sneed was on his way, man. We know he was on his way.
Yeah, it won't be going nowhere but yeah. Now, how do we go about doing that? So people are not going to invest in your product, because it may not be for they're not going to invest in the possibilities. They will invest in your stories and your mission. So we got to build a community around a vision, right?
Yeah.
So this is the vision, and then this is what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to hire the neighbors. I'm going to Once I start making money, I'm going to invest in the schools to get better teachers, to get better education for our children. So now what are we doing? We're taking control of our own existence while we're here. And we're not relying on anyone that can take something away. I am always been that kind of person, Gilbert, that one, I don't like you to limit me. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
And two, I don't like you to hold something over my head as leverage to get something out of me. I'll just walk away from the whole thing. Right. So, but it's for a bigger picture. And that's really where we have to be. And so that's what, when you said he was able to pull in 2 million people plus, is because he sold his vision.
Exactly.
And
they believed in it.
Yeah. He mobilized all those people. They believed they were big of something big, a part of a bigger, something bigger than themselves. And someone taking action to move us, like Greg says, the old school revolution or movement of the people. We don't, and I think, Gilbert, when you asked, someone asked me earlier today, why were we were having a conversation that back in the 80s and the 90s, 70s, we were a lot better off where we are now today. And she and I actually had gone to fame, and Greg can jump in on this one, was that Reverend Murray, he sold us a vision. And we got on board, man. And he did work outside of the church, and you could see how the betterment of our communities based upon the vision that he was selling us in church every day. Then we went outside of the walls, and we were like, okay, we are soldiers ready to make things happen. And then all of a sudden, we didn't have that anymore. We didn't have the Reverend Murrays. We didn't have anybody. Martin Luther King's gone. Everybody's gone. And so we're just like a ship without a rudder.
Co-host, when we buy a car, the term that they give us is at least 5 years, at least, right? So which means 60 months. But it could now some dealers are doing it for 70 months or even 72 months, right? Okay. So if 5 years is 60 months, we have 50 people that's contributing $500 in a pool. That means that cycle is going to go 50 times. That's less than 5 years that you're putting 500 in a pool and you're getting back 25K out of that. No interest. Do you see what I mean? So and this is like 4 years and like 2 months, right? When you put the money in that 4 years, 2 months. So if we can do that type of activity, think about the many businesses that can be helped just through the discipline and that process. You see what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that would be a great thing because now, and you have a team, you have a community, you have everyone with the same vision to help this business grow, because after your period of time being supported, now we have others are going to be supported. And now we're building a vision that says we are taking control, and we're going to have true impact in the lives of the people in our community. We're not going to be relying on anyone, and we're going to be able to take care of ourselves. And when we look in the Asian communities, we see that. We look in the Hispanic community, Latin communities, we see that. So
the Jewish community.
Right. And the Jewish community, we see that. So that's what needs to happen. We have to be able to, we don't need anyone else. We can take care of ourselves. We're highly educated people, and we can create the vision. Yes, Greg, collective economics. And
that's
now
what I'm talking about.
And when you look around, now that we're having this conversation about Marcus Garvey, and we have it all the time, but think about it, Gilbert. We have startup competitions, right?
Yeah.
Number of people, that's a collective platform. We have there's a few Black-owned business banks out there. I bank at one. Some people bank at. There are many business accelerators that are out there where you go in and they help you, and then on the other side there may be some opportunities for you for capital for the other side. But better than anything else, you have gotten all this amazing support and education and knowledge from people who are part of that vision, and they want you to succeed. They're not looking for you not to succeed. The goal is for everyone that comes through these platforms or cooperative business models. It's about you succeeding, and if you succeed, then all of us succeed.
I want to have a discussion with you, co-host, after the show, because I don't think we should be talking about this anymore. I think we should just do some action and make it happen. You see what I'm saying?
You've been motivated. You didn't got the vision.
Oh yeah, I've had the vision. I just didn't implement it. Now I'm ready to implement it.
You got over there doing some calculations, huh?
Yes, because I'm telling you, we get 50 small businesses at $500 contribution in this. Every month, a small business is getting $25,000. You see what I mean? Every month for 50 months, and then once they get that, what you and I, the skills and talents that you and I have, which is the management and the compliance aspect, that's what we will do and make sure everybody else, they pay their money. And if you get your draw early, it doesn't mean that, okay, now you're going to quit. We arrest your ass. We'll take you to jail if you don't continue to pay. You see what I mean?
Well, you have to be bought into. You have to be
committed.
You have to be committed to the vision. That is not just about you. It is not just about you acquiring wealth.
It's everyone.
Everyone is doing that, and we're helping everyone within our own community, and consequently, everyone will benefit from that. But
I want you and I to talk about this and work it out some more, because this is a great approach, man. I am sick and tired, going to these groups, going to these banks, asking for lines of credit for these small businesses, 25,000, 50,000. What's your credit score? They don't ask their friends about credit scores. You see what I mean? So Greg said Gilbert is going to give Crystal 25,000 to get it
We're just going straight to the end goal, huh? But what we're saying is that in today's entrepreneurs, instead of just jumping into a business that you have not done any research or soul searching
and all of that,
right? You just jump into it and don't know how you're going to get to the next step. There's a map for everything. We half the time, most folks don't even leave the house without turning on their Google Maps or their they'll go around the corner. So we as a people have to stop doing that. And then the other thing, Gilbert, that I was talking to a friend of mine, that businesses have to be a business that is solving a problem. In today's world, businesses that are successful are unless they're revolutionary different like AI, but and if you got something like that going on, that's on another level. But businesses have to be the solution to a problem that people have. If people have problems, they want a solution. So you just can't just jump out the back and okay, I'm gonna do this business. Well, what problem is it solving? Because that's what we teach the kids. That's the first thing off the bat. What is the problem you're solving? And then how are you going to solve it? and who are the customers that you're going to attract or target. And then at the final end is how much revenue can you generate from that business. And so you really got to stop and think about what you're doing. When I started my business with training people how to use QuickBooks, it was because I knew folks could even get taxes done because they didn't even have financials, or they didn't understand their financials, or they hadn't filed their taxes. All of these things are problems if you're trying to be a successful business owner. And so that is the problem that my business solves, is to make sure you have all of the resources and you have a solid financial foundation in your business. That's what problems I solve, right? And I knew this going into that, that as long as there are people out there with businesses, the skill set that I had is a valuable skill set, even with AI, because if you develop the strategy to go along with it, and you know how to read financial statements, and you can pinpoint a person's problems before they get to the bank, and let the bank identify it for you, then that's a problem that's solved. And so, Gilbert, your business solves problems. You're helping people increase their capacity for wealth by giving them another option and an ability to do contracts, which is on a bigger scale, right? That's the
help
problem.
them with compliance and efficiency, back office efficiency. It's just amazing. It's just amazing.
And so,
I'm
and
telling
Greg,
you, Cole, I'm motivated, man. I'm ready to get started on this thing right now. So I'm telling you, man.
Greg said, think of it like leaving the shore and losing sight of the land for a while without a plan. You just adrift.
Exactly. Because the thing about this is, even if we get, we want 50 small businesses. So even if we get 10, 10 times $500, that's 5,000. So that's 5,000 to start. So whatever you put in is what you get out. There's no interest attached to any of this. And we're doing this out of the goodness of our art. We're not trying to, take any processing fee or any crap like that.
No, you just want to be able to help people, develop and get on board with a vision that is not just for you. Eventually, yes, if everything keeps moving forward and you're growing and you can do business together,
right?
Now you're on that wealth path. So when Gilbert and I were doing the work when we were doing the research for the show, I had asked Gilbert, were there other, so this Marcus Garvey $30,000 competition is happening in Barbados. But we actually, with our research, we found out that in several of the other islands, they're also doing the same thing. And then in Jamaica has a number of incubators and accelerator programs that they're doing the same thing. So they're on the path. So now the goal is, how do we? So that's one of the pillars, Gilbert, is we just saw was the money part. But now, how do we do business with the Caribbean diaspora and then the African diaspora? Because that opens up a whole nother train to building wealth and self-dependency. I think that's what we're really looking at, is being able to be economically free from any danger because we have our own wealth.
Yes.
That would be it. So I think everyone, if you guys that are listening to us today feel and hear what we're saying, it is time for us as a people, especially in a world that has become so polarized and everybody is looking out for self, and those that are looking out for self and using Black people and Latin people and Asian people as the target practice for them to get what they want. We have to come up with a plan and a strategy and a vision for ourselves to protect us from being a victim. I personally don't I am not a fan of being considered a victim because that just drives me nuts. I
Right.
like to be able to take control of what's happening in my world, and I refuse to be a victim actually. But we can turn ourselves around, but we all have to get on board, and we
And
have to love ourselves. We
this
have to have pride in the fact that we're Black people, and nothing wrong with us. It's just
and
our
this
coat.
this economic ecosystem that we're building, it doesn't necessarily have to be only for Black people. I want it to be for the invisible small businesses, the
Right.
ones who they're dispossessed, they're economically dispossessed, they're disadvantaged, they don't have access to resources and opportunities. Those are the kinds I want. I want serious businesses in here. I don't want any business that's trying to do any scamming, or they're trying to get the draw, and then after they get the draw, they don't want to pay it back. We don't want those kinds of people in here. I want to say it up front. People, let me look in the camera and say this.
You gotta
I
get all
don't
up there.
want any of you small business thinking like you're a scammer, like you can come in here and scam this money after we give you your draw, you don't want to pay it back. We're not looking, because if that's the case, we're going to prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. This is about an honest and a integrity type process, economic process for all small businesses to benefit, not just you. So you take the 25K and don't come back and don't pay the rest. We're not doing that. So just want to let you guys know that this is a serious thing we're doing. You can't get a bank loan. You can't get access to funding. Your business is floundering. It's time to take your business next level and give it that economic juice that it needs. So now you can sell to your customers. Now you can market to them. Now you can ship your products to the Caribbean countries or the African countries that really needs and wants your product to make your company grow. That's what we're trying to do here.
Okay, so you guys heard that. So we will continue on this conversation, and I'm sure Gilbert's mind is over there working. I can hear it over on this side of the camera.
I'm telling you,
All the
I'm ready.
Just letting y'all know. This quote, it really resonates with this conversation, and in a great way to close out the show. Although I want to share something with you guys before I do that, on our greatness, Gilbert. I saw this the other day, and I just thought, now this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, but this quote is: God and nature first made us what we are. And then out of our own created genius, we made ourselves what we want to be. And so if we follow that great law and stay connected to who we are and whose we are, and know that we started out in greatness, and that is our job to continue on in that greatness. And we have to have self-love to do that, and not buy into all this other nonsense that people want us to believe. Right. And so with that, but before we leave, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Pat has been putting stuff in the chat, and then
Thank you, Pat.
Our Bud came in, and he had his say. And
our field correspondent.
Our field correspondent had to add his little pieces to it. So let me do this. I saw this the other day, and as a Black woman, I really resonated with this, mainly because that's just who we are, right? So Black women, you tell us what not to do, you can be guaranteed. Tell us no and see what happens. We gonna prove you wrong. So let me get back over here to where it is. That's just who we are. I don't know what else to say.
That's hilarious.
Here we go. So and some of you from New Orleans or Louisiana, you may have been aware of this. As soon as it comes up, hold on a second. Let me close out something over here. Okay. So there was a law in Louisiana that came about. And so now let me go over here because I'm going to share it, Gilbert. I was like, now look at here. This is amazing. Let me see. Oops. Oh, here. Let's go for here. Here, share screen. Okay. So it was a law that was created in Louisiana because the Black women, when there were many freed Black women in Louisiana, and so the Caucasian women became very upset with the beauty of the Black woman and how she did her hair, and they felt diminished next to her, and so the Black woman. So they created a law. It's called the Tynan Law, and that law basically said that Black women could not come out on the streets without their hair covering. Okay, so that was the law. Let me take this off. Oh, wait a minute, you're not seeing it. Hold on.
No, I can't see.
Hold on. Let me stop the share, and then let me share it back. And I just had to laugh.
So Black women couldn't go on the street with their hair uncovered.
They could not go on the street with their hair uncovered because they made it a law because it was making Caucasian.
White women complained so much about Black women's beauty that the government passed a law to cover their hair. And you probably weren't taught this in school. It was 1786. Louisiana. Free Black women in New Orleans wore their hair high and elaborate, styled, adorned with jewels, feathers, ribbons. They were confident, visible, and impossible to ignore. And that was the problem. White women complained to the governor, said Black women looked too elegant, said they were competing for attention, said they needed to be put back in their place. Here's where it turns. The government listened. Governor Esteban Miro passed the Tynan laws. Black women were legally forced to cover their hair with plain cloth wraps. The goal wasn't modesty, it was control. Make them less visible, less powerful. But the law backfired. Black women took the required head wraps and transformed them, styled them higher, added color and jewels, made the Tynan even more striking than their uncovered hair. What was meant to erase Black beauty became a symbol of resistance. So ask yourself this: why did beauty feel threatening enough to become law? Comment Tynan if you were never taught this, and follow for more untaught truths.
Is that
co-host? Co-host, if I were of another culture, I would not try to go up against Black culture at all, because that's a losing proposition, man. They've been doing it for centuries, and we still win. All we do is win, no matter what.
But you gonna tell a Black woman, first of all, in Africa, what was she doing? She was covering her head. So that all she went back is to her ancestry, and she just pulled out her head wrap and like, oh, okay, you want me to cover up my hair?
Oh, now you cover it. It's too beautiful. What are you doing? Oh, that's crazy, man. That is so crazy.
When I saw that the other day, I was like, oh, wow. But again, don't tell us what not to do, because we're going to take it to a whole nother kind of level.
Co-host, back in the day, a few centuries ago, they told us we couldn't eat certain kind of meat, so they deprive us that access. So they give us scraps. They give us the tail of the cow and the feet of the cow and pig, and say, throw this in the garbage, eat this. And we made great meals out of that oxtail.
Oh, the oxtail is the best meal on the planet, boy. The tail of the ox is like,
and now they want it back.
It's a delicacy in our household.
They want it back. No, they're jacking up the price. You see what I'm saying? They telling this lady she can't cover her hair. So she said, okay. I mean, she can't go out with her hair uncovered. So she said, okay, I'll cover it up. So now she put some style and fashion in it. Put some style and fashion in that. Now they go, you're too stylish. We don't like that. What you said.
Right. Yeah. She went from okay, beautiful to, oh my God, she's spectacular now. You can put us in a burlap bag and it really don't matter, because it's the essence of who we are.
I'm telling you, man, They
when I
tell
saw
us
that,
that we can't do certain things, and we we do the opposite and
okay,
make
tell
things
me
better.
no. Just tell me no what I can't do and
Oh Lord,
watch me.
that is crazy, man. That
But
is
I
crazy.
had to share that today because I thought that was classic.
Yes, I like that. I like that story. I like that. And
All right,
folks, for those of you who are watching, man, this is the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. We're on every Friday from 3 to 4:30, guys. And if you've been watching this, listening to the amazing story of Marcus Messiah Garvey, a trailblazer for Black excellence and Black economic development. And as a matter of fact, this economic development that he preaches or he preached back in the day, it can benefit any group. You don't necessarily have to be Black for this. Uh, if you're in the disadvantaged business category or the economically dispossessed category, this is for you. If you're an invisible small business, that means nobody sees you, nobody cares about you, nobody knows where you are, how to find you, or to purchase from you. You're an invisible small business. And we're trying to empower those invisible small businesses so they become visible. And that's why this Buy Black economics from Marcus Garvey that we talked about today, guys, you should take a look at the principles and see how well businesses can grow and can bounce from it. So that's what this show is all about today, guys. And I hope you heard what my co-host is saying about this. I hope you heard what I said about this, because we're here, Coach Crystal Mitchell and Coach Gilbert Buchanan. We're here to help the small, disadvantaged, and invisible small businesses. That's what we're here for. We're not here for businesses that are doing great. We're not here for you guys. We're here for the dispossessed. We're here for the economically disadvantaged business guys. So, co-host, tell them how.
Yeah. So guys, so we just want to make sure to close out this particular conversation is Marcus Garvey felt that people without the knowledge of their past and origin and culture and is a tree without roots. And so we are not a tree without roots. We do have roots. And so when we think about our business today, we have to learn about our roots to know where people came from and how they were able to create that economic wellness in their world. So this is not to put down what we're doing now. What we have to do is we need a strategy. And Marcus Garvey, if he was alive today, he would be driving that strategy home about collective economics, about helping each other and working with each other so that we all can build a better today for our tomorrow, which is for our children. So I want you guys to go out and do your own reading about Marcus Garvey, how he applied his principles to ownership, because we know right now you need to own what you have so that people can't take or kick you out of where you are. Yeah. You need self-reliance. You have to understand that you have everything you need in order to rely on yourself. And collective economics is how we drive home our business journey. So we're not working from, as Gilbert just said, from a micro space. We're operating from a macro space, and then we can protect our communities. We can protect our families, and we can grow and be happy. We have to have a vision. You cannot give up a vision. That's the only way you keep your hope, keep hope alive, as what they said, and you want to turn that vision into value and ideas that is going to create opportunities for yourself and everyone within your circle. And so collective economics is how we go about doing that. That's the best way to do about that. So guys, we'd love for you to go over to our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button and be part of the Business Zone family and hear all this great stuff. We try to bring you a solution-oriented content so that you can help grow yourselves, your business, and I don't know if we're going to grow billionaires or trillionaires, but there is a way to get to a trillionaire. But you got to get the structure down first. You have to get the system in place, and then you can become a trillionaire, because now you can now take your business public. But you got to have a business that's worth going public, because if not, you don't need to go in there. So with that, we want you to hit the subscribe button, become part of our family. There's no cost to coming to see us every Friday afternoon at 3:00 or going over to our YouTube channel. It would cost you if we were sitting down in front of you and we were coaching you. That would cost you. But this way, you're getting the best of Gilbert and I. And we've been doing this for 10 years, and we want to continue to do this. But we want to help you help yourselves. And that's what I have to say, Gilbert.
Sounds good to me, folks. We'll see you guys next Friday at 3.
All right.
And if you've heard of my mentorship program, Next Level Contract Readiness Mentorship Program, it's run on Tuesdays from 5:30 to 7:30. We go over different elements of contract, government contracting. We try to get you ready so you can bid on those contracts. As a matter of fact, we got about 15 opportunities right now that I'm going over with the proteges in the program. If you're interested, you want to be a part of that, you give me a call or send me an email. My email is gilbert@thebuchanangroup.net. And my phone number is 626-533-1186. So you go ahead and contact me that way, and I'll get you guys started, guys. Get you started right away. The goal is to get you guys at least 2 six-figure government contracts over the next 12 to 18 months. You can't do that. You don't belong in this program. You don't belong in business. Okay.
All right, guys. We will see you all next Friday. Have a fantastic week. Every fathers out there, happy Father's Day. Enjoy your family and whatever you're doing out there to celebrate and honor yourself as a father. And we'll see you all next week. Be safe out there.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.